Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. As of writing this script, I'm still overseas, and let me just tell you, the Australian education is kind of hard. It's just really challenging, and maybe that's just because of the lecturer we ended up getting, because we got 3 of them, and 2 of them are pretty chill. It's just the third one that's kind of expects a lot out of us, and you can really feel it, but it's still kind of tough, and it took a bit to get used to. But enough of me ranting about real life stuff. In this video, I wanted to talk about one of my more unpopular opinions, and that's how being an artist has made me value art less. Now, before I even begin to get into the main bulk of the video, I need to preface it with this. This video is not meant to put down anyone, any other artists, or to degrade or devalue the art that they produce. I'll just say that again real quick. This video is not meant as an attack to anyone, and it shouldn't be taken as such. This video is just purely me just expressing my own thoughts and feelings, and you don't even have to agree with me. If you want to, you can take this video as just me talking about how after becoming an artist, that has made me value my own art less, if that makes any sense. But once again, this video is not meant to degrade any artists or the work that they put into the art that they produce. This is just me trying to explain my own thoughts and reasons behind my own opinion, and everyone is free to disagree with me. All right, now that that's out of the way, we can jump into the main topic of this video: how being an artist has made me value art less. Perhaps some of you might already begin to see some of the contradictions in my statement. Rubie, if you draw and you're technically an artist, you must know the time and effort someone has to put behind drawing each and every single piece of artwork. That's hard work, practice, and time that's been put behind each artist's work. And if you're an artist, then you should have experienced all of these hard work and effort, which should naturally make you value the art you produce more. So what gives? And I suppose this statement is sort of true. I do draw, and I've drawn for a very, very long time. So I know that there's a lot of practice, thought, and effort that sort of goes behind each piece of artwork that someone who doesn't draw might not have known. And I'm not trying to deny that artists don't put a lot of work and effort behind their art. They definitely do, some more than others, but this isn't why my reasoning for valuing art less comes from. So with that being said, what is my reason for not really valuing art, especially after becoming an artist myself? Well, for me to fully explain my reasoning, I should probably give you a bit of a backstory. For those of you who don't know, the reason why I became an artist is it's kind of dumb, at least, like, it's really kind of dumb at best and really selfish at worst. I actually have a video already up that recounts pretty nicely why I started drawing and how I became an artist. And I recommend you watch that video first to get the full picture of why and how exactly I became an artist. But if you don't feel like it, here's the SparkNotes version of it. So when I was younger, I asked an artist to draw free art for me, and I got super mad and threw a temper tantrum when they wouldn't give me said free art. And I started teaching myself how to draw as my own way of getting back at her. I don't know. It's really dumb. Like, in my mind, because I was a dumb kid, I was thinking, yeah, she thinks she can hold being able to draw something. She can just hold that over me. Well, I'm gonna learn how to draw so I can show her that's, she's not as great as she makes herself out to be, and I'll be even better than her just to shove it in her face. Yeah. And it was just a really dumb reason, but that's why I started drawing, and that's how I became an artist. And that's, how you ended up seeing me draw the art that you're seeing me draw right now. So that's the backstory. Now that that's been explained, some of you might already have a brief idea of where my devaluing of art came from. When I started, it really wasn't about drawing because I wanted to create something that no one else could, or express myself in a medium that I was familiar with. And it wasn't even drawing for the sake of drawing. No, I started drawing because I wanted to get back at someone to sort of show her that the skill that she was supposedly holding over my head as leverage to feel like better or superior to me. And I was like, I was just making all of these hypothetical things in my mind, but I just really wanted to show her that she really isn't as special as she thought that she was, and that if I wanted to, I could acquire her skill set just as easily and pretty much make her obsolete. And that's why after a lot of practice and trial and error and becoming an artist, I don't really value art that much, because in my perspective, if some bratty entitled 6 to 8 year old with such skewed motivation can grow up to be an okay artist, then what makes being able to create art, or even art itself, so special? That just goes to show that art isn't anything special. Anyone can just learn it. It's not like other skill sets like being a doctor or a carpenter or a welder, or just any skill that requires professional training. Literally anyone can just become an artist, and yeah, even a loser like me. So why would I value art and the skills needed to produce said art in general? Now, some of you might be saying that this kind of thinking is wrong, and perhaps art is one of those all about the journey and not about the destination kind of deals, where the time and effort spent into creating art is what gives art value. But this sort of argument lends itself to another problem entirely. So let's just say that perhaps there's this hypothetical situation where there's these two artists and they can draw the same thing, like maybe an apple, they can draw the same realistic apple. Maybe there's some minor differences, but it's pretty much the same apple. However, artist A drew their piece in 30 minutes while artist B drew theirs in twice the time. So artist B took an hour to draw their apple. Does that mean that artist B's apples bears more value than that of artist A's because they spent more time on it? But that doesn't really seem fair or make any sense, since the apples they drew kind of look the same. But maybe you're looking to get more bang for your buck like most employers would. In that case, you'd probably value artist A's skill set more, because you can get twice the apples drawn in the same amount of time. Look, I know that this hypothetical situation is really very unlikely to happen because it's such a specific scenario, but it just goes to show you that the value that people place on art is really there's just no rhyme or reason to it. It's just very subjective values that people think art has. Maybe you like a certain color palette that the artist used, maybe the proportions of the figure drawn. Heck, it might not even have anything remotely to do with the artist's skill or style. Maybe they just drew a character from a fandom you liked, or perhaps they take requests and, they drew your own OC. And that fact alone is enough to make you value that piece of art above all other art pieces. It's just very chaotic, and I can't really make sense of it. Like, I totally understand why someone would value a certain piece of art over another because of, the above mentioned reasons. And hey, they can place any subjective value on any piece of art that they want. I'm not trying to stop anyone from doing so, but to me it just goes to show me that art really has no inherent value other than the value that other people think that it has. And since I don't really think that art has much of a value other than to get back at someone who didn't give me what I wanted so many years back, you can kind of see why I didn't really value art, or in the very least my own art, after becoming an artist myself. It's not a skill set that requires professional training, It has a relatively low learning curve. Literally anyone with enough time and practice can do it, and it doesn't really have any value other than the superficial value that those who are looking on it, place on them. And I know it's kind of sad, and I'll be the first to admit that, but it's truly what I believe. Now, like I've said in the beginning of this video is by no means meant to degrade the time and effort of any other artists. I don't doubt that many artists put plenty of time and effort into their pieces, and they don't need me being on negative Nancy on them. But as an artist and looking at my own art, I just don't really see the value in it. Perhaps other people might see some sort of self-produced value when they look at the art that I produce, but other than that, art really doesn't serve much of a purpose to me other than for me to look back on and give me some peace of mind to know that, at least my time hasn't really been totally wasted. At least I can look back on the art that I made and know that at least I've spent my time on something concrete that I can actually see and maybe touch in the case of the sketchbooks that I feel. And yeah, that's really the only value I place on my own art. So that's why I don't really value art that much. But perhaps you think that I'm wrong, or maybe you think there's another aspect to this that I haven't taken into consideration or talked about in this video. If so, please let me know in the comment section down below. And I'm sorry for the sadder video this time around, but if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. And I'll be seeing you in the next one, whenever that may be. See ya!